Very busy man, and we are very lucky to have him here with us today at South Middle School. So he is a graduate from West Virginia University, and he works to integrate tech ed into the schools here in West Virginia. So we are looking forward to having him here with us and sharing his experiences today.
Thank you. How's everyone doing today? Good. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, much better than the last session? All right, great. All right, so again, my name is Brandon Downey. I'm the chairman and CEO of Trilogy Innovations. And for the next several minutes, I want to take you guys on a very short journey. And that journey is about my life and how I actually came to stand in front of you here today. Okay? So let's get started, shall we? All right, so don't laugh. These are my baby pictures, okay? I put them up here for a reason. And I want you guys to take about 10 seconds, and I want you to take a look at those pictures, and I want you to tell me the type of person that kid is. And I want you to think about it in terms of happiness, I want to confidence, things of that nature, just from the picture itself. Okay?
He's joyful.
You raising your hand? Happy. What else we have? Yes?
Joyful.
Joyful.
What the sauce? I was going to say.
Excited. What else do we have?
Chipper.
Chipper. I'm sorry?
I'm had more
What else do we have over here? I'm sorry? Anything else? Maybe one or two more. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Curious. Hopeful. All right. All great answers. Now, I will tell you guys this. You never take a picture for what it's worth. Yes, I was happy in those particular instances, and that's because there was someone taking a picture saying, hey, look, over here, doing something funny for me to laugh. But in all due reality, this was me. I was very isolated. I was an extreme introvert. I was very timid. And as a matter of fact, I spent about 99% of my time in my bedroom. And this was all the way up through junior high school for me. It wasn't until I actually reached high school when I actually started to come out of my shell. So if you wanted to find me, I was actually in my room making up worlds, being creative, being sheltered, hidden from life. I had no self-identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know the role that I was actually going to take in the world. So that actually plagued me. I had a lot of time to think about it. My worldview was based upon whatever could come up in my head. The interaction of how people did things outside of my house, outside of my apartment, outside of my room, I made up. The only way for me to deal with the world was to make up the relationship that I had with it. So the question becomes, how did I move on? That's a very complicated answer, but it starts with a picture like this. This picture here reminds me of my mother. If you guys can't feel it, you can feel the anguish. You can feel the sadness, the sorrow. This was my mother growing up. I grew up in a single parent home. I had no father in my life, none. She worked 3 jobs. She worked 3 jobs in order to make the life that I'm living today. Many sacrifices on her behalf. I developed what we call empathy, which means that I try to understand her perspective by putting myself in her shoes. So from that, I was able to gather that she struggled. She was hurting inside. I couldn't tell you the number of times I've seen her knocked down only to bring herself right back up. There was no one there to lift her up except for her own self. That was very, very hard for me to actually see. So at that particular moment, I decided that something had to change. I had to come out of the bedroom. I actually had to take advantage of all the sacrifices she made for me. So, too many dreams lost, too many sacrifices made. Something that I kept telling myself over and over again. I had to take advantage of the things that she did for me. And the last thing I had to do was I was not going to disrespect her by living the same life as she did. She wanted something better for myself. Hence the reason why I'm standing in front of you today as a CEO, not as someone working 5 or 6 jobs trying to make the ends meet for my own family. And I'm sure some of you probably have similar stories. However, there's one way out of it. You need to start taking a look at the influences around you. Take a look at your educators, your teachers, your counselors, and so forth. Anyone in your life that's actually willing to sacrifice their own happiness in order to make your life richer in terms of success. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Think about that. You yourselves have the ability to influence your friends. You have the ability to take their lives a lot farther than they could their themselves. You have the ability to smile. You have the ability to help. You need to be the influence that they need to strive to make a significant stride in life. So, all the educators here and so forth have invested in you guys today. This is the reason why you're sitting here, sitting in this room, listening to me, is because I'm actually born, raised, and educated in West Virginia. I am proof that you can do things outside the zip code that you live in. They invested in you to be here today to listen to the words I actually have to tell you. So, how did I do it? How did I get out of that bedroom? Small steps. That's what it takes, small steps. It takes a conviction to say, listen, this is enough for me, and I'm actually going to make something for my life. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm 46 years old, and I still like to be alone. Ask my wife, 27 years, sitting over there. Asked her.
Does he?
But with all due seriousness, it's something that you never, ever grow out of. You grow accustomed to it. But if you have to take that one step, put one foot in front of the other, and understand that change is hard. And it will always be there for you in any and all respects of life. So, for me, I'm just going to tap through these. By understanding that there's changes in my life I have to make, I was able to secure internships that exposed me to technology. It's the reason why Trilogy exists today. It was through friendships that I was able to understand that I can use technology for my own good and for people that I actually do work for to change their lives. It was because of friendships that I actually was able to foster in high school. This kid, Mark Henry, taught me that development is fundamental. If you understand the core value of it, the core syntax, you can build anything, which includes creating my own world that actually created my head when I was in my bedroom. All right, so I was able to go through high school, many more challenges in college. So, but the same thing, you have the same idea of how to move forward. And again, that's one step at a time. Now, I'll tell you guys a quick story. The reason why I put this up here. I was literally dropped off at school, literally. My mom, my aunts dropped me off at school. We carried everything up to the 9th floor Lion Tower. And within 5 minutes, they had everything put away. They included clothes, bid made, food put away, curtains up. My mom looked at me 5 minutes later and said, "We got to get down the road." This is from, you're telling this to a kid that literally spent his entire life in the bedroom. You left him alone. I felt abandoned. Whenever I sat on the edge of the bed, I went through that thought process that built up anxiety inside of me. It's like, how am I going to carry on? How am I going to go from not being able to clean my own clothes, make my own food and so forth, to honestly doing laundry, warming things up in the microwave, trying to make new friends? How am I supposed to do that when I spent a lifetime avoiding it? Right then and there, I made another conscious choice. It's one step at a time. So I made friends with my roommate. I then made friends with other friends within the actual community, especially when it came to student organizations and so forth. And I was able to figure it out. But I did also thought to myself when I was in high school that things are only hard if you sit there and think about it. They will plague on you time and time again unless you figure out the small things that you need to do to make one step, and another step after that. This is a very important thing to me. Show me your friends and I'll tell you your future. The reason why I put that up there is because if it wasn't for the friends that I met in college, I would not have started Trilogy. Back then, again, computers were cost prohibitive. I did not have access to one. But the kids that were on 7th floor Braxton Tower, that was their field of study. I actually started WVU as a pre-med student. If I did not meet these group of kids to influence me the way I am today, I would be standing in front of you as a doctor versus as CEO and chairman of a corporation. So whenever you start taking a look at the people you surround yourself with, take a look at their desires, their need for career path opportunities and so forth. And you're gonna find yourself actually using that to build your own character, your own professional career outlooks and so forth. So, throughout my professional career and business world, I'm going to give you a couple of things that I found to be very, very true. Failure is a stepping stone to success. We have put too much emphasis on the need to determine who wins and who loses. To a successful person, failure is not failure, it's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to figure out what went wrong and make yourself better from it. We have to stop thinking about it in terms of you won this, you won that. Whenever you do face failure or compromising times or struggling times, those are opportunities for yourself to introspect and figure out what went wrong to make yourself a better version today than you were yesterday. The second one is, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. Remember, one step at a time. Small steps every single day. You have to be able to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow from it. If you're not growing, you're remaining stagnant, and then someone else is actually going to take over your particular position. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Be open to possibilities and don't limit yourself. This has helped me out more than anything else. Anything else that I've talked to you about, my inspiration, my mother, the people that actually show me computer technology and so forth. But if you ask yourself a question, you will open it. If you state something, it will close it. What I mean by that, if you constantly tell yourself that I can't do it, then you won't. If you ask yourself, why can't you do it? You're gonna figure out the reasons why you can't. Trust me when I tell you, it is a mindset. That is actually gonna distinguish you between anyone else, and that's what distinguishes us between the ones who perceive failure and the ones who actually live success. So my question is to you, which one do you wanna be? So, I'm gonna leave that. I think we have what, a few minutes, Mrs. Smith? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So I think it'd be a perfect